Good morning, everyone. Welcome to today's live event for changes to the partial retirement process. My name is Angie McPhee. I'm a member of the stakeholder engagement team. In a moment, I'm going to pass over to Darren Murray, who's the project lead for the McLeod Reform Project, and he will be presenting on today's event. Darren is being supported by Adrian Earnshaw and Sarah Booth. And behind the scenes, we're being supported by members of the McLeod Engagement Project. You'll notice during the event today, there will be no access to your camera, microphone, or the chat function, but there will be a Q&A which will open towards the end of the presentation. We will answer all questions, and to help us answer as many questions as possible during the event, please only submit your question once. If we do run out of time to answer your question during the event, we will answer it after the event. If you don't see your question in the Q&A function, it may be waiting to be answered, or it may have already been answered. We won't be able to provide advice based on specific or any individual circumstances during today's event. During the event, we will put links to the resources in the chat, and after the event, we'll send these to you by email. A recording will be made available after the event, and the event will finish around 11:30 a.m. So without any further ado, I'll hand over to Darren to begin the presentation.
Morning, everyone. Thanks very much for that, Angie. As Angie said, my name's Darren Murray, and I lead the team at NHS Pensions that's responsible for implementing the legislative changes to partial retirement that are coming into force on the 1st of October this year. And I'll start today with a slide about the objectives of today's presentation. So this event is aimed at payroll providers and pensions administrators, and it will focus on the updated partial retirement application process and the tools that are available to support members through that process. There's a separate webinar that NHS employers are delivering, which is aimed at strategic and operational HR staff, workforce leaders, and anyone with a specific interest in staff attraction or retention. And that webinar will provide much more detail on agreeing the new working arrangements and on the 10% reduction in pensionable pay. The webinar will be held on Wednesday, the 2nd of August from 10 till 11 o'clock, and you can book a place via the events section of their website. We will now share a link to that webinar via our Q&A function for you, though. At the end of the session today, there'll be time for Q&As. But we may not have time to answer all of your questions. Any that we don't manage to get round to within today's session, we'll make sure are followed up as quickly as possible after the event for you. And if I could ask if we could go on to the next slide, please. So just to go through here what we'll cover for you today. So first of all, what is partial retirement? Who is eligible for partial retirement? How will members apply? What member guidance on applying for partial retirement will be available. We'll also be talking about the 10% reduction, but as I've said, it will only be a high-level overview. The NHS Employers event on the 2nd of August is where this will be discussed fully, focusing on the employment law side of things and answering all of your questions that you may have there. We'll also be demonstrating some of the resources that will be available to you. One of the key resources is going to be available on the 1st of October, which is the partial retirement calculator. We've been working with the Department of Health and the Government Actuaries Department here to produce a new partial retirement calculator stroke modeler for members that will replace the need for partial retirement estimates from the 1st of October 2023, and I'll come on to that in more detail later on. There'll also be a section where we talk about members affected by the McLeod ruling, and again we'll talk about a interim resource which is called the McLeod percentage tool that I will demonstrate later on in the session. And then we'll go through the resources that will be available on the NHS Pensions website and then come to your questions and answers at the end of the session. If I could go on to the next slide, please. So first of all, what is partial retirement? Partial retirement allows members to claim some of their pension benefits whilst continuing to work. Taking part of their pension benefits is also sometimes known as drawdown. Partial retirement is already available to members of the 2008 section and the 2015 section, and NHS pensions process these cases on a weekly basis. DH is introducing changes to the scheme rules to allow all NHS staff to work more flexibly up to and beyond their retirement age. And the changes that are being introduced from the 1st of October will expand partial retirement to members of the 1995 section, and it will also increase the percentage of benefits that members can claim. Currently, members aged from 55 are able to take drawdown of between 20 and 80%, but that's being expanded to allow them to draw down 100% if they wish to in 1 or 2 drawdown payments without having to leave their current job. And if I could ask for the next slide, please. So key part here, who is eligible for partial retirement? The criteria for being eligible for partial retirement has not changed and isn't changing within the legislation. So it remains exactly the same as it has been previously for 2008 and 2015 scheme members. And that eligibility, as a reminder, is they must have reached their minimum pension age. They must be an active member of the scheme. They must reduce their actual pensionable pay by at least 10%. And for GPs, dental practitioners, ophthalmic and non-GP providers, a 10% reduction in their commitment is required. They must have a change in their terms and conditions of employment following the reduction in pensionable pay. And they must have the previous level of pensionable pay prior to partial retirement for at least 12 months. They then also must have the new level of pensionable pay to last for at least 12 months from the point that partial retirement is taken. After that 12-month period, they can go back to the situation where they work as much as they want. It's only for that 12-month period that that reduction has to be seen. And they must not have already claimed partial retirement on 2 occasions, because the 3rd occasion has to be final retirement, not partial retirement. And if we can move on to the next slide, please. So there is one additional criteria for eligibility that's specific to certain 1995 scheme members. So those who have a protected minimum pension age of 50 will be able to claim their benefits without leaving their job. But between the ages of 50 and 55, the regulations are that they will only be able to take 100% of their pension benefits. From age 55, they'll be able to take between 20 and 100% as anybody else. But for that period between 50 and 55, they can only take 100%. Members will be able to continue building their pension in the 15 scheme, won't need to take a break or change of jobs, but they will need to reduce their pensionable pay by 10%. And if we could go on to the next slide, please. So, key part, how will members apply? The application processes remain exactly the same, but we have introduced some efficiencies and improvements as a part of the project. So just to go through the current process, that's to complete an AW8 form, and then on a separate sheet of paper, confirm the 10% reduction in pay and that it will remain in place for the next 12 months, detail the percentage that the member wants to take, and then send the AW8 and the separate sheet over to us in pensions. As far as the updated process goes, it's really key here that the AW8 has not changed. It remains exactly the same as it always has been. What is happening is that there'll be a supplementary form, and I'll come on to that in a moment. So first of all, the member would complete the AW8 form as usual, and then they would use the partial retirement calculator that GAD is producing for us from the 1st of October to model the percentage that they want to take and produce their own estimate. Unfortunately, I'm able to demonstrate that calculator today as it's still under development by GADS, but I will demonstrate our interim tool later on in the session, and we'll discuss why this tool may be beneficial for members with service within the McLeod remedy period. As I say, then they would then complete with yourselves as the employer the AW8 partial retirement supplementary form. This is a new form and confirms that the members reduce their pensionable pay or commitments by 10%, that they'll remain on the reduced level of pay for at least 12 months, and the amount of benefits that they wish to take. And I'll demonstrate that to you and show you a copy of that form later on in the session and go through that in a bit more detail. These forms, as well as an employer fact sheet, are all available now on the Employer Hub for you, and we'll share a link at the end of the presentation so that you can go in and familiarise yourselves with those. But it's just to make clear here really that the process hasn't changed, same AW8. There's now a better form instead of a blank sheet of paper for you to complete, and I'll come on to the calculators and the impact of those later on in the session. If I could come on to the next slide then, please. So member guidance. Member guidance will be published on our website after this event, and it's likely to be early next week that we publish that. But we wanted to give you early sight of what will be communicated to members first. And what's up on your screen now is a summary of the guidance that we'll be providing to members on how to apply. So the first thing for members is to talk to the HR team about the new working arrangements that mean that reducing your pensionable pay by at least 10% for 12 months after partial retirement is possible and agreed. From the 1st of October, they then use the partial retirement calculator to decide what percentage of pension they want to take. It will be able to model for them in the replacement of estimates exactly what that would mean to them in respect of different percentages against the schemes. So they will be able to fully articulate to NHS pensions the percentage that they would like to take. It will explain to members that if they're affected by McLeod and can't wait until the 1st of October to take partial retirement, then there is an interim McLeod percentage tool that we'll be sharing with them that will help do that for them. So once they've completed their AW8 and they've worked out the percentage they want to take, they then need to contact yourselves as the employer to complete the AW8 benefits claim form, so that supplementary form that I was talking about. This would then be attached to the AW8 and sent in by the employer to finalise their sections and then forward it on to us for processing. The member would then start their new partial retirement working arrangement after taking some of their pension benefits that they've built up, and then continue to add to their pension within the 2015 scheme. And if we could go on to the next slide, please. So the 10% reduction. As I said here, this presentation is about the application process within NHS pensions, but we're obviously highly aware that there's agreements that need to be made with staff in the background first about the 10% reduction before they're able to confirm that to us and go through the application process. As I mentioned, this presentation is only giving a high-level overview of the new working arrangements and is focusing on that application process. The NHS Employers event on the 2nd of August will go into full detail on the associated employment law and will take questions and answers that you'll have on various member circumstances. And again, we will provide that link, and I think we probably already have done within the Q&A session, so that you can sign yourselves up for that session. But just as I said, that high-level overview, to take partial retirement, members will need to agree a new working arrangement with a member of their HR team that lets them reduce their pensionable pay by at least 10%. For example, members could change their level of responsibility, work fewer hours, or move to a new role. GPs, non-GP providers and dental practitioners will need to reduce their NHS commitments by at least 10%. Pensionable pay must stay at the reduced level for at least 12 months after partial retirement, or the member will no longer be eligible for the pension that they've taken. During this period, they may still be able to do additional work that doesn't count towards their pension, such as overtime or bank work. As NHS Pensions is not the member's direct employer, it does not have access to individual employers' payroll records. It's therefore the responsibility of each individual employing authority to review pay records to ensure that the member's pensionable pay reduces in line with the pre-existing legislation, and that the pay does not increase within the first 12 months after taking partial retirement. And then we'll come on to the next slide, please. So the partial retirement calculator. As mentioned, NHS Pensions and DHC have commissioned a partial retirement calculator to be developed by GAD. This calculator will provide a better member experience from the 1st of October, as they'll be able to fully model all options open to them for themselves without the need to request or wait for an estimate to be produced for them. It will also reduce the effort for both employers and for us at NHS Pensions Administration in producing those estimates for them. So from the 1st of October, members can use this partial retirement calculator, and we really would encourage you to speak to members about waiting until the 1st of October to use that calculator and to model things for themselves there. Unless they have a really good reason why they need to go and take partial retirement on the 1st of October, we recommend, and we really highly do recommend, waiting for that calculator to be available. If a member does want partial retirement arrangement to start as soon as possible from the 1st of October, then they can submit their forms and applications from the beginning of August, and we'll do all that we can to process those applications by this date. We'll also make it possible for applications to be backdated. And when we talk about a good reason there for going on the 1st of October, we obviously want to get aside that message that if you wait till this calculator is available, that's the best for you. But they may have very good reasons why they need to go on the 1st of October. You know, for example, they may have a mortgage that is ending, or that their period of their mortgage ending at the beginning of October. And as we all know, with interest rates as going up as they are, they may really need that additional income at that date. And as I've said, we'll do everything we can to facilitate that by providing them with an interim tool, doing estimates for them up front, and allowing them to go on the 1st of October. We just think it's a better experience for them and more straightforward for them if they're able to wait until the 1st of October. And if we could come on to the next slide, please. So, members affected by the McLeod ruling. As everything within NHS Pensions at the moment, every bit of legislation that we're implementing or changes that are being made are affected by McLeod. You're all aware of the scale of the work that needs to be done there, and partial retirement is affected by that in the same way that everything else is. So as a part of that ruling, affected members are due to have their pensionable service for the McLeod remedy period. That's the period where discrimination was judged to have taken place, and it's between the 1st of April 15 and the 31st of March 22. Those members will all have their 2015 scheme service within that period rolled back into the 1995 and 08 sections of the scheme from the 1st of October 2023. These affected members will then be contacted in the 12 months after they've taken partial retirement and asked to choose between keeping these benefits in the legacy section or whether they want to take 2015 scheme benefits for that remedy period instead. When it comes to making this choice, it's expected that because of the discrimination ruling, members will automatically assume that choosing legacy scheme service will be better for them than the 2015 scheme that they were moved into. But this is not necessarily the case in all instances. Depending on how long a member continues to work after taking partial retirement, it may be that 2015 scheme service would be more advantageous for them. And this would become clear to them when they receive their remedial service statements within 12 months of taking partial retirement. So I'll come on to in a moment why that means that we need to provide an interim tool for them, because there may be a reason why they would not want to take 100% of their benefits because of the McLeod ruling, and I'll come on to that in a moment on the next slide. The McLeod choice also means, apologies, sorry if I could just go back a slide, thank you. The McLeod choice also means that there's other factors that members will need to take into account when deciding the percentage of their pension to take, as it could also affect their tax position or their final salary link if they have one. And if they later choose to take 2015 benefits for the remedy period, they may have overpayments to pay back. If we could go on to the next slide now, thank you. So, as we're saying, from the 1st of August, members will be able to apply for partial retirement. But what we're ideally saying is hold off until the 1st of October, until the full GAD partial retirement calculator is in place. But if members do need to go, they may only wish to take their legacy scheme benefits up to the point of the remedy period being the 1st of the 4th, 2015. To avoid any overpayments, repayments later if they decide to keep their remedy period service within the 2015 scheme. As such, we've developed an interim tool for members to use until that partial retirement calculator is available. And this interim tool is called the McLeod percentage tool. And I'll just go through the slide now. So it doesn't give members as much information as the partial retirement calculator, but it does allow those members affected to see what percentage of pension they could take to avoid having those overpayments and repayments when they make their choice later on. This tool is available on the partial retirement page of the NHS Members Hub from the 1st of August, when members can start to apply. To use it, members will need to know the membership that they use to calculate their pension benefits, known as their pensionable service or their reckonable service. And members can find this figure on their annual benefit statements. I'll give you a demonstration of this tool in a few minutes' time when we come to that part of the presentation. And if we can move on to the next slide, please. So, estimates. As discussed, the best possible experience for members is to wait until the 1st of October to use the partial retirement calculator to model and produce their own estimates and then make their application to NHS pensions. If, however, they wish to partially retire on or just after the 1st of October, then NHS pensions will provide estimates. It should be noted here, though, and pointed out to members that if they're fully protected, i.e. they've got legacy scheme service up until the 31st of the 3rd, 2022, then they are able to produce their own estimates using their latest annual benefits statement. It would just be a case of applying their percentage against the detail there to be able to produce their own estimates. If they're not fully protected, then they can use the member estimate form, which will be available on our website with the link there within the slides. We have updated our member estimate and our employer estimate forms as a part of the project process, and hopefully improving that experience both for members and for yourselves as employers. If the member does require an estimate, they will need to send that through to the email attached here, pensionsquery@nhs.nhs.uk. The employer version of that estimate form, which is the updated AW295, is available on the Employer Hub for you now. I should point out here that NHS pensions will only be able to provide one estimate at a given percentage for a member. So if they want to go on the 1st of October or just after, they can request an estimate from us saying, I would like to take, for example, 75% of my pension from my legacy scheme. What we'll not be able to do is undertake modelling and to provide multiple estimates at different percentages for them at this point. In this instance, members will need to wait to use the partial retirement calculator from the 1st of October, where they'll be able to model at any percentage they want and produce their own estimates there. Unfortunately, it's just a capacity issue as far as estimates go. We're expecting a high take-up, as I'm sure you are, of partial retirement. And in order to facilitate people going on the 1st of October, we do need to limit to just that one estimate so that we can make sure that estimates and applications are provided and processed on time. So yeah, I'll now share the screen with you that's come up and go through some short demonstrations. So this is early sight of the interim tool that will be made available on the NHS Pensions Member Hub from the 1st of August. We will be adding additional information here with guidance, exclusions, and why using this tool would be beneficial for members with remedy service. It's just we're still working on that at the moment, but I wanted to give you some early sight here. Just to point out that this tool is an interim product between the 1st of August and the 1st of October. This tool will become obsolete on the 1st of October when the GAD partial retirement calculator is released, because it will include this functionality as well as the ability to model estimates. So it's just a short-term tool. Just for the exclusions on here, unfortunately, the tool can't be used if the member has mental health officer status with doubled years, is a male nurse with service before the 17th of May 1990. It's also not suitable for practitioners due to the way that their benefits are calculated. If a member falls into one of these categories, they'll need to contact NHS Pensions to determine this percentage for them and to produce an estimate. And I'll now demonstrate this tool for you. What this is doing here is saying to and producing for a member, right, I want to take partial retirement. I want to take my benefits from the legacy scheme, but I don't want to take all of it because I don't want to take and draw down my benefits from the remedy period. Because if I do that, I'm aware that if I then decide within 12 months that I want 2015 membership for that period, I'm likely to have to repay some of my lump sum or some of my pension because I've now changed the scheme that I want that in. So what this calculator will do for them is let them know what percentage they should request to draw down without going into that remedy period. So I'll just model an example here for you. So let's say we have a member with reckonable membership of 28 years, 212 days, and they're full-time. It just produces that basic calculation for them to say, right, if you request to draw down 75% of your membership of the legacy scheme, you will not touch your remedy period between the 1st of April 15 and the end of March 2022. Therefore, you can be confident that when you come to make your McLeod decision in the future, you won't have to repay. You can say, right, I'm happy that you can say then at that point, okay, I want to have my remedy period within the 2015 scheme, and that's fine because you've drawn down your legacy period. But if you do decide that you want to have that membership within the remedy period, at that point they'll also be able to take, in this example, the remaining 25%. So I'll just give you another example there of a smaller service. Let's say they have 15 years, 315 days and are full-time. Then it calculates for them that they should ask to request 55% of their pension to be drawn down, which again means that they wouldn't go into that period. Slightly more complex if the member is part-time, in that we need to put in a little bit further information. So in order for the calculation to take place, they'll need to let us know how many hours sessions per week they worked between the 1st of April 15 and the end of March 2022. So let's say in this example, they did 15 sessions per week. And what were the full-time equivalent hours sessions for that week? So let's say 37.5. And again, it will do that same calculation for them and say to them, yeah, if you request to draw down 82% of your legacy scheme benefits, you won't have drawn down any of the remedy period, which allows you to make an informed decision within 12 months without having to make any sort of repayment there. So I'm not going to go through this in any detail because it's available for you now. And again, we'll share the links to that of where it sits on our employer hub. But I just wanted to let you know the sort of basic information that this provides for you. It's an updated version of the fact sheet that already exists. It just now talks about the ability for 1995 members to take this and the percentages that are available, but also hopefully makes everything a bit more clear and a bit more concise for you. It provides information on partial retirement, eligibility, minimum pension age, being an active member, the reduction of pensionable pay, achieving the 10% reduction, changes to terms and conditions, partial retirement limits, where benefits are held in more than one section or scheme, lump sums, abatement, the interaction with McLeod, and the application process. It also provides some examples which we hope will be of benefit to you. And I'll just scroll down now to the first one of those. So it provides an estimate here of, an example here of where a member's work pattern has changed within the 12 months prior to them taking partial retirement. We have had a number of questions come through here, and hopefully this one covers off as an example for you within the fact sheet. It also has an example of where a member is impacted by lifetime allowance and the maximum tax-free sum rules. So again, an example in there for you. And it also covers off where members have benefits in more than one section or scheme and how that works in being applied to the whole of the schemes, but then being applied sequentially from the beginning of their service. I'm sure you'll probably have questions on these later on in the Q&A part of the session. And my colleague Adrian Earnshaw, who has kindly revised and updated this fact sheet for us, will be able to go into those in a bit more detail if that's required. Okay, and the last one I wanted to demonstrate to you is the, or demonstrates the wrong word, share with you, is that supplementary partial retirement AWA form. Previously, this information was only ever provided on a blank sheet of paper alongside the AWA. This process has now been improved to provide a proper form for that to come into on us. The first section is for the member details and just details, their details, and then the date. Obviously a key part, the date on which they need to take or want to take partial retirement. And obviously that's from the 1st of October this year for 1995 scheme members. Obviously 2008 members and 15 members can partially retire before then, as in line with the way they already have been able to do, but only up to 80%. Again, 2008 15 members can only take up to 100% from the 1st of October this year, which is when those new rules come in. The second section on the form here is where we need additional information from you. Obviously, NHS pensions only hold data up till the end of the previous year. So for this year, we only hold it till the end of April 23. Here is where you need to fill in the information to tell them what their actual pensionable pay has been from the 1st of April up until the date that they wish to take partial retirement, as we don't have that information currently. The third section on the form here is where you'll confirm that the employment rules have and will be met for the next 12 months. So has their pensional pay been reduced by 10%? Have their terms of employment changed as a result of the reduction in pay? Will those be in place for the next 12 months? And then also, has the member been made aware of the option of only claiming their legacy scheme using the calculators up till the end of March 2015? And key to point out here really that, you know, as pensions administration employers, it's your responsibility here to inform us that that has happened, but it's the responsibility of your HR departments to make sure that that has been facilitated and accounted for, and that they've informed you as pensions administrators that that's been done, so that you can complete this form and let us know that that has happened. Really, these 4 parts here are key, because that's wherein you're informing us that that has happened, and you're giving us the authority to go ahead and make the application process and pay the payment for those members. The next section here is where the member informs us of what benefits they want to take. So the first part there, does the member wish to claim only pensions benefits based on membership in their legacy scheme up till the end of March 15? So this is everything we've gone through about why they might not want to draw down from their remedy period. They've used the calculator, or they've asked NHS pensions what that percentage will be, and they're ticking here to say, yes, I want to take my remedy benefits, sorry, not remedy, I want to take my legacy scheme benefits, but only up until that date. This is where they would confirm that and put the percentage in. Second part there is if the member said, right, okay, I've seen the advice there, I understand, but I want to take 100% of my benefits now. You know, for whatever reason, they may just say, no, I want to draw down everything that I'm entitled to. And this is where they would draw down a tick here to say, yes, I want to take all of my 95 benefits, all of my 2008, or all of my 2015. The final part they can tick there is if they're saying, right, I want to take a percentage of my pension benefits. So this is not about if they're trying to not eat into the remedy period and they're not wanting to take everything. They're just wanting to take a given percentage. And this could very well be because they don't want to draw down so much that it would alter their tax position, because with, you know, still earning money within their role and having their pension coming in, there's a chance that they could, in certain circumstances, move up to a higher level of tax. So it may be they want to say to us, for that reason, I only want to draw down 40% of my benefits. Another instance may be there where they're only taking partial retirement because of the current cost of living situation, and they may be, right, I just want to take 20% of what I'm entitled to at this point, because I know that would ease my current situation and would see me through, you know, the current period of uncertainty that we're going through. So it's just to show there that there's 3 options available to them. Yes, I want to take the percentage only because of remedy McLeod. I want to take everything I'm entitled to, please, or I know I would just like to take this percentage. And there's a keynote here to read through. So members with benefits in 2 schemes, for example, the 95 and the 15 scheme, or the 2008 and the 15 scheme may choose 100% of their 95 or 08 benefits and some or all of their 15 benefits. However, they cannot claim just their 15 scheme pension. The members must exhaust their benefits from each of the sections before taking a percentage from the next. Any decoupled benefits are excluded from partial retirement. So if a member has any sort of legacy scheme benefits that they haven't and aren't asking to draw down, then they can't take their 2015. Another thing to point out here is that if the member has added benefits in the section or scheme they're claiming partial retirement from, do they wish to claim those at the same time? And to note here that if the elected percentage exhausts the member's 9508 section or their 15 scheme benefits, the added benefits from that section will be automatically payable. And I'm sure you may have questions on that part. And again, I'm hoping that my colleague Adrian will be able to answer that for you. And just at the end there, we obviously need both the members and your signatures as the employer and the date that you're submitting that form to us. So just a summary here of what's on the Employer Hub now, what will be on the Member Hub next week, and what will be available later. So on the Employer Hub now is the employer fact sheet. Apologies here, there's a slight typo where it says updated AW8, just to confirm here that the AW8 has not changed. It's exactly the same as it always has been. What's also available on there is the AW8 partial retirement supplementary form that I've just gone through. And also on there is the updated AW295 estimate form for where you wish to submit estimates on behalf of the member. Please do encourage any members who are interested in partial retirement or returning to work and to continuing to build benefits after taking full retirement to continue to check our partial retirement page at NHS Pensions Member Hub. This page will be, as I said, updated shortly with the following information. So it will explain the application process, expand on the information already available, and on what steps to take now. It will also have a member fact sheet and member estimate forms for where they wish to submit that estimate form to us. What will be available later on? So from the 1st of August, that McLeod percentage tool that I shared with you and highlighted earlier on, that will be available until the 1st of October when the full partial retirement calculator is available. That will have that functionality that was in the McLeod percentage tool and give them the full ability to model everything that they need to. Also, further member resources, videos, explanations will all be added ahead of October to make sure that we are placing the member in the most informed position that we're able to. And that concludes my presentation for today. The Q&A function of the event is now open, and myself and my colleagues Adrian Earnshaw and Sarah Booth happy to answer as many of your questions as we can before the end of the allotted session today. So thank you very much.
Thanks, Darren. I'm just getting the Q&A up ready for questions and answers. Okie dokie. Hi, Adrian. So I think the first question that I can see that was published there is, will copies of these slides and a recording be shared? I think Vicky's just responding to that now. So I think the first question is, when can we start reducing the pay of 10%? Do we need to wait until we receive confirmation that the application is successful? I'm not sure who we're going to for that one.
I'll take that one, Angela. The reduction happens once we've got the AW8 in, and you can take that the application has been successful in that respect, and the reduction from 10% starts from the elected payable date. So if somebody has asked for the pension for the partial retirement to be payable from the 1st of October, we would expect the reduction to take place from that date.
Thank you all. Sorry, I'm just having trouble with my Teams moving up the Q&A. Sorry, it's just not having it at the minute. Don't think I'm doing them in order now. The new ones will be at the top, won't they? I'm sorry about this. For some reason, I can't move up to the next question. The arrow's just not letting me move up. Oh, no, I'm on. Sorry, guys. Okie dokie. So next question. How do we know can we find out who has a protected retirement age of 50?
The protected retirement age of 50 usually applies to those members who've got 95 section pension benefits and have joined the scheme first for the first time before the April 2006. If you're at all unsure, you can contact us and we'll be able to confirm that.
Thank you very much. Okay, so we're just waiting for the next question. Right, if a member would like to take partial retirement on the 31st of January 2024, when should we begin the process? Do we wait until the 1st of October? And if so, will it be processed in time? Thank you.
Yes, I can take this one. So yeah, absolutely. If they're going in January, then yeah, we would say wait till the 1st of October so that the member can model the percentage they'd like to take and get all of the information there. And then apply afterwards. Usually what we'd say is the same 3-month process that we have for final awards. So if you're able to submit the application 3 months in advance, then yep, we would be able to make payment on the date. We're aware, obviously, that for people who do want to go on the 1st of October, that we are only opening up the acceptance of applications on the 1st of August, which is 2 months. But that won't be a problem to us. We will be processing those applications. We're just aware here in pensions that we have a shorter period to do that to start off with. But again, I will reiterate that the best all round for members, us and yourselves as employers, is if the member can wait until that full partial retirement calculator is available on the 1st of October.
Thanks, Darren. So I've just missed one there. Do you have to pay tax on your first drawdown? I'm not sure whether that's the best one for Adrian.
Yeah, I'll take that one. I'm assuming you're on about the pension benefits here, and yes, it will be taxed as normal. So any taxable income will include your pay alongside any pension benefits you receive. So it'll be just like any normal pension benefits, whether it was age retirement or early retirement, it'll be exactly the same process regarding tax.
Thanks, Adrian. Question about the calculator now. So what if a member had been both full-time and part-time in the period being used to calculate the partial retirement percentage?
That is a very good question. Apologies, Sarah, I'm going to put you on the spot on this one.
You're all right, Darren. I think those would need to come in to the BSA to work that one out. I think we couldn't put every eventuality down or put too many combinations, so that was just the most straightforward one.
No, that makes perfect sense. So yeah, in that case, as with the ones who can't use that tool because of certain circumstances, then yeah, they'd need to apply to us and we would then work out internally what their percentage is and then provide them with an estimate at that percentage back to them.
Thank you both. Question from Lucy. Can bank workers claim partial retirement? If so, how can employers provide evidence of the 10% reduction when the work pattern is unknown?
Yeah, this is one we've had. Sorry, apologies, Adrian.
No, you go.
No, I was just going to say this is one we have had come up, and I will pass over to Adrian to answer that one.
It is possible for bank workers to do partial retirement. However, it is down to the employer to demonstrate that they have had a 10% reduction in the pay. Now, a lot of bank work is you don't actually have to do all the sessions that are available for the bank. So you may get partway through a year and you've hit your maximum, and some may not be able to do any more without breaking that 10%. So as long as an employer can demonstrate it is feasible and it is possible, then yes, a bank worker or even a locum hospital doctor is exactly the same position. Then as long as they can demonstrate that the 10% reduction has taken place and has been maintained for that first 12 months, then there isn't a problem.
Thanks, Adrian. So next question, possibly another one coming for you, Adrian, I'm not sure. Partial retirement eligibility states active member of the scheme. How will this affect members that are in full-time employment and left the scheme, e.g. due to annual allowance charges, or have deferred benefits yet to be drawn down?
Yes, you do actually have to be an active contributing member to the scheme. If you have opted out or you have left employment and you've got deferred benefits, you won't be eligible.
Thank you. I think one for Darren. What is the anticipated processing time for a partial retirement? Is it still 3 months?
It is, yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, the same process that we asked for final awards, final retirement. If you could submit the application 3 months in advance, then that means that we will process on time. Again, as I said, aware for people going in early October, there's only a 2-month process there, but that's fine. That's our problem here internally, and my problem to resource that and make sure that we can complete them in a shorter time frame to make sure that those payments happen.
Thanks, Darren. Someone's just saying thank you for all the information. For the McLeod percentage tool, I think we may have touched on this already. What if members work various hours, e.g. a mix of whole-time and part-time between 1/4/15 and the 31st of March 2022? Can this tool not then be used and referred to NHS pensions for the estimate?
Yes, it would need to be, yeah.
Thank you very much. Lucy's asking, if a member agrees to wait until the 1st of October to use the calculator, how soon after then can they take partial retirement?
Right, this is a very good question. So, yeah, if they wait there, it wouldn't be the 3 months is what we're saying here. So if they wait till the 1st of October, they use the partial retirement calculator, work out what they want to take, and then they put the application into us. We will process that as soon as possible for them, and we'll backdate that for them if need be to the date that they wanted to go. I would tentatively say that if they're waiting until the 1st of October to use that tool, we should be able to facilitate them going in late October.
Thank you. Peter has asked, the fact sheet does not mention special class or MHO members with 1995 section normal pension age of 55. Can they draw down 1995 section benefits without early retirement reductions from age 55 onwards?
The simple answer to that is yes, they can. As they got special class MHO status, that will remain for the 95 benefits, and they will be unreduced.
Thank you.
Yeah, and just to point out there that that's where we're expecting the vast majority of applications to come in from. Originally, they were going to be excluded as part of the new legislation, but then that was amended, which has caused us a lot of our work here within NHS pensions, because we do think that's where the most of these applications are going to come from, and potentially a high volume of them as well.
Thanks, Darren. Okay, next question. Will the whole partial retirement process be manual, i.e. not done via Pensions Online?
Yes, it will be. So it's a manual AW8 and a manual AW8 supplementary form that will come into us. There's a reason for that, in that with McLeod, choice on retirement will be coming in at some point next year. And as a part of that, which I'll be leading again, there will be a revision to the awards process, which will mean changes to the AW8 and the whole process. So what we didn't want to do was sort of make all of this part digital and then have to unpick that next year. I can't guarantee that that digital process will happen even when choice on retirement comes in next year because of the scale of McLeod, but it's certainly an ambition of ours to digitise the whole awards process in the not too distant future.
Okay, question now from Pam. Employees aged 60 in January 2024, can they take all of their 1995 pension and continue to work full-time and pay into the 2015 scheme without taking partial retirement?
I'll take that one. So if we're saying they're the employees age 60, so they're entitled to the age pension normally from the 95 section, but if they are still active, then we would expect a 24-hour break. But if they do the partial retirement, they will still need to fulfill the 10% reduction to be able to access those 95 benefits without taking a 24-hour break.
Thank you, Adrian. Linda has asked, can a member who has opted out rejoin for a month, or do they have to be a member for 12 months?
I'll call that one again. Yes, the member does actually have to rejoin. They actually have to be actively paying contribution to the scheme, so they will need to opt in, and it doesn't have to be for the full 12 months. If they were in for 1 month only, we would prorata that pay up for the whole 12 months and expect a 10% reduction on that pay.
Thank you very much. Okay, next question is, will the AWH supplementary form be available from the 1st of August 23? If not, how do we process pre-October applications?
Yep, no, that's available. And sorry, I'll just get my comms colleagues to confirm here. Sorry, let me just check my notes and I'll come back on that one. But it's either published now or is about to be. You certainly won't have to wait until the 1st of August.
I'm sure the supplementary form is available on the website now.
Yeah, I can confirm it's available now.
Yes, brilliant. It is on the Employer Hub for you now.
Thanks, Darren. Okie dokie. Next question. Can an individual fully retire within 12 months of taking partial retirement?
Yes, they can. We would like to think that will be unlikely, but if it does happen, they are able to do that.
Thank you. Okay, next question from Hazel. All our partial retirements want 100% of the legacy scheme and they're over the normal retirement age and they all want it ASAP from the 1st of October 2023. So why would they need to wait for the calculator as they only want 1995 only 100% over NRA, normal retirement age, if they want the remedy period as 1995 as well?
Okay, yeah, if that's what they're saying they want, they aren't worried about leaving that remedy period, and then in the future within 12 months when it comes to make their decision, they're happy to pay back the lump sum and pensions that they've taken as an overpayment. That's not a problem. You know, they're all entitled to take exactly what they wish to take there. So yeah, if they wish to take the 100% and don't want to wait for the calculator, then they can apply to us from the 1st of August and we'll process that for them. It's just, I think we really do need to flag up to members where you're able to as employers what that might mean for them when they come to make their choice about the remedy period. What we don't want to see is members getting their lump sum, spending that on things that they want to spend now, but then realizing down the line that they're sort of limiting their choice on McLeod in the future because they may not have that money to pay back for the remedy period if they choose 15. And it's all about how long, and I think this is a key bit, how long after they take that partial retirement they intend to carry on working. You know, if they carry on working for a few months after partial retirement, then yeah, legacy scheme probably is the right choice for them. But if they're intending to take partial retirement and then carry on working for another 20 years, 2015 is likely to be far more beneficial for them. And if they were to choose that, that would involve an overpayment and a repayment to us.
Thanks, Darren.
Yeah, can I just add something there, Darren?
Yeah.
This scheme, our scheme actually has flagged up to us that there is a tipping point where it might be more beneficial for members moving across, and it's around about the 62.5, 63 years age mark, and that's when it might be better for the 2015 or the 95. So they might want to be very careful what they decide straight away.
Thanks, Adrian.
And sorry, just for me to point out there as well, because this is fundamental for members as well. So if they do decide that they want to be careful about the remedy period, use the calculator, and draw down, let's say 75% of their benefits, when they do come to make their choice and they say, right, actually, now I've seen it, I do want to stay that period within the legacy scheme, they can immediately draw down that remaining 25% and we'll pay that to them at that point of choice. So it's not like they are making a choice here and then they can't get the rest of it. It's just saying, look, be sensible, hold off a bit here, take this percentage, and then when you come to make your choice, you're either going to realise you're better off in the 15, or you're going to want it in legacy and we'll pay you the rest of that there and then. And that wouldn't be a second drawdown for them. That would just be a revision to their first drawdown.
Thank you both. Lucy has asked, can we submit partial retirement applications prior to the 1st of August 2023?
You can, if it's for a 2008 or 2015 member that wants to draw down between 20 and 80%, because that's the current rules and you've been able to do that since 2008. So yes, absolutely. If it's for a member that's 95, or for an 08 or 15 member that wants to take more than 80%, then no, not until the 1st of October. 1st of August.
Thanks, Darren. So Karina has asked, what is the advantage between taking partial retirement to retire and rejoin, especially if the member wants to take 100% of their legacy scheme from the 95 section?
I think, Adrian, I don't know, I was going to pass it over to Sarah on this one, but if you're happy, Adrian.
No, I'll take this one. All that is usually down to local policy. Now, when someone retires and rejoins, it basically severs a contract and everything resets for them, annual leave, pay, everything. But that's down to, we understand, to local arrangements. So when someone does partial retirement, they don't actually have to take a break in the contract of employment. They just carry on. So they have the continuity there. So it's all really down to what you have as local arrangements. If you have a local arrangement where they just pick up their old contracts, then that's fine. But if you don't, then partial retirement is probably the way to go.
Thanks, Adrian. So got a question now coming about bank work, so it might be coming back to you again, Adrian.
Mm-hmm.
The fact sheet says members may still be able to do additional work that doesn't count towards their pension, such as overtime or bank work. Bank work is only non-pensionable if the member is already full-time or opt out on the bank contract. Does that mean that the member could take an additional substantive contract, opt out on that contract, and then not have that count towards their pension?
I would say that. Let Adrian answer on this one, but I think this is where we've talked about the arrangements here. This is where the NHS employers webinar would provide you with that lower level of detail there.
That's exactly what I was going to say, Darren. Actually, I think this is more for the employers sort of presentation, and it's not something that we can assist with regarding employment arrangements.
Thank you both. How would the final salary link be affected by partial retirement? I'm probably coming to Adrian again with that one.
You definitely are.
It all depends on if they're exhausting the pension benefits from the legacy scheme. So if we have, as an example, somebody who's 90 for 95 and has transitioned to the 2015 and they elect to take 100% of the 95, the final salary link is completely extinguished on partial retirement. If they only decide to take 80% of those pension benefits, then the remaining 20% will continue to attract the final salary link, apart from if they have a break of more than 5 years at any stage.
Thank you. So Alison has asked, if someone is eligible to take partial retirement from age 55, is 100% just 1995 or is it across the board? Sorry, I have to read that. If someone is eligible to take partial retirement from age 55 to 55, I'm not sure what that means. Is 100% just 1995 or is it across the board? Sorry, Sarah.
Sorry, I was just going to say, Angie, I think that should be 50 to 55. Is it where they're under 55 and they have to take the 100%? It's not across the board. It's just the legacy part, unless Adrian corrects me.
No, you're right there, Sarah. It is just, if they want the 95, they have to take the full 95. They can't just take a percentage, but that's explained in the fact sheet that's available on the website.
Yeah, and I think just to say there, if that's not quite the question, it's about members over 55, they can ask to draw down 100% of everything if they wish to, but just remember that if they're also asking for 100% of their 15, then that would be actuarially reduced.
Thank you. Question from Lorraine. It's about how a member of bank staff could reduce their pay by 10%.
Again, that one would be at the NHS employers webinar. They're going to focus purely on that for you. So where we've gone through all of the application process and our processing timelines and things here, that's your opportunity to find out that, you know, member specific wise, what would happen in enabling that 10% reduction to happen. And that session is more focused, as we said, as on the HR and strategic people within employers to allow that to happen, and then to inform you as the pensions administrators that that's happened, so that you can complete the AW8 supplementary form and tell us to go ahead and process the application.
Thank you, Darren. Someone has asked, could you please go over why they can only take a certain percentage during the remedy period, as I didn't quite understand.
Right, okay, so where we've got the remedy period, which is the 1st of April 15 till the end of March 2022, that's where the whole McLeod bit comes into play. That's where it's been judged by the High Court that those people have been discriminated against on age grounds, and they were automatically moved into the 2015 scheme at a point between those dates. What has to happen on the 1st of October because of that judgment is that service has to go back into the legacy scheme. So, for example, myself, I was moved from the 2008 scheme into the 15 scheme on the 1st of April 15. But on the 1st of October this year, I will move back in so that I'm in the 2008 scheme right up until the 31st of March 2022. When I come to retire, I will have a decision to make about whether I want to keep it in 08 or whether I want it in 15. And when members make partial retirement applications, that also triggers that choice for them. But because that's not coming into play until next year as a part of the McLeod project, then they will get their decision within 12 months of taking partial retirement. And what we're saying is that they may not wish to draw down any of the service within that remedy period. They may wish to only draw down up until the 1st of April 15. Because if they draw down any more than that within the legacy scheme, they may then in the future decide they want that as 15 service, and what they'd need to do then is make a repayment to us because they've been overpaid on the amount of money that they've drawn down. So the safest things for members to do is only draw down up to the start of that remedy period, and then, as I say, when they get their decision within 12 months, if they want to stay in the legacy scheme, they can have the rest of the money there. But if they decide they want to stay in the 15, then that's fine for them without any consequences.
Thank you,
Hopefully
Darren.
that explained it okay.
I think I'm probably coming to Adrian for the next one. It's from Tracy. Would final pay controls still be applicable when someone takes partial retirement?
A short answer to this one, yes, it will.
Thank you. Okay, so quite a long one, this one, so bear with me. Given that partial retirement is mainly to enable members still contributing to the scheme to take a percentage of their benefits or 100% of their pension from the October 2023, how is this going to be applied for those members who have had to stop paying contributions and are no longer actively contributing to the scheme because they have reached max service? I think you might have answered this.
Yeah,
or upper age limits for special class. Yeah.
Yeah, so they will be able to take partial retirement.
Yes. Are they going to be given some special consideration to rejoin the scheme before they can submit the drawdown application to claim 100% of their 1995 benefits?
We'll pick up that last part of the question after. and we'll
Okay.
we'll publish the answer to that one.
Thanks, Adrian. Okie dokie. So next question from Neil. One of the early slides you mentioned that someone can reduce hours by 10% but continue to work on the bank. If someone only works 30 hours per week, does that not mean that the first 7.5 hours per week of the bank work then should be pensionable pay? Similarly,
Again,
we have, I think it's a 10% reduction query because we're going to,
yeah.
The next bit is about
very,
consultants.
Yeah, very valid question, but to ask at the NHS employers webinar.
Another question there about the McLeod tool and what do they do if there's multiple changes in hours between the 1st of April and March 2022?
Again, yeah, ask us and we'll provide that percentage for them.
Okay, someone has asked, can we be given a working example of an employee and their drawdown options?
So not quite sure what's being asked for there. What, apart from like the eligibility and all the information in the fact sheet, I'm not sure I quite know what additional is being required there. If you could provide a bit more information about what it is that you think you're looking for, that would be helpful.
Thank you. Someone has asked, given you're recommending staff not to start until the tool goes live on the 1st of October, when would you recommend that they then retire so as not to delay payment?
And so, as I said, you know, we're not recommending, so we're not saying you must not retire, you know, you must wait until the 1st of October. We're just saying we think that's the best experience for them because they'll be able to model fully, get their own estimates and then go. But if they do wish to do that and want to wait until the 1st of October, use that tool on the day, model, get your percentage, apply into us straight after. And I would anticipate that we'd be able to facilitate people going at the end of that month. And if we aren't, then we'll be able to backdate that for them.
Thank you. In addition, someone's just asked, how do we find out reckonable membership period as it's not obvious online? Is that something that's on the members' annual benefit statements, is it not?
I finally got a question I can pass over to Sarah.
Yeah, if the members are fully protected, so they didn't move across to the 15 scheme till the 1st of April 22, the information for reckonable membership will be on the TRS, on their ABS part, that would have the reckonable membership at 31st of March 22.
Thank you, Sarah.
Okay.
And Teresa's asked, and I think you have confirmed this, what is the anticipating processing time for partial retirement? Is it still 3 months?
Yeah, so for the ones coming in on the 1st of August, 2 months, and we're aware we've got less time to do those and we will facilitate that. But for all ones further on from that, if you can give us the 3 months, that gives the better chance for members to be paid on time, in line with the same that we do for final retirements.
Thank you. Someone's asked, what does this mean for staff that have recently, within the last 12 months, taken retirement? What should they do if they wish to return to contributions?
Yeah, they're fully entitled to retire and return. That was made available to all members, including 95 members now from the 1st of April this year. So unless Adrian goes against what I've just said, yeah, any member can retire and return. Oh, you're on mute, Adrian.
The usual faux pas there. Yes, you're right, Darren. The can come back from the 1st of April 23.
Thank you.
If any further information's needed there, it's all on our employer and our member hub on the website from where those legislations were changed on the 1st of April this year. In fact, I think it's on the same page that you'd go to for the partial retirement here information here. It's there or very close to there on the website.
Thank you. Someone has just made a couple of comments about when they haven't seen an ABS for a long time. When will they return, please? Not too sure why they're not getting an ABS. Yeah,
sorry, I can't comment on that one. It's not an area of my expertise.
Shall I take that one? So
if you
TRS ABSs are still produced twice a year. So the refreshes happen in August and December. So they haven't stopped. So I'm not too sure on that question. The next one is around don't understand the remedy scheme. There is a lot of information on our website. I think we've probably included some of the links on here that explains a bit more about what McLeod is, why we're doing it, and all of the sort of the rulings that came in. So hopefully that should be able to help with that question. On the abatement one, Adrian, do you want to take that one?
Yeah, in relation to partial retirement, abatement is where the member exceeds the reduction that was applied, a 10% reduction. So if they exceed that in the first 12 months, then the pension will stop in full until such time that the pay returns to the 10% level. I should add on this that the reduction in pay is only for the first 12 months from taking partial retirement. After that first 12 months, the member can then increase their hours and the pay if they so wish. We're only basically asking the member to reduce the commitment and the pay for that first 12 months following partial retirement.
Thank you. Paul has asked, if we have deferred members who want to draw their pension down as they are not active members, do they still need to effectively leave employment and take a 24-hour break?
Essentially, yes. If they're not active, the partial retirement isn't open to them. And to access the pension benefits, they would normally need to take a break of 24 hours. But more information regarding people who are deferred and the taking 24-hour break is on the website.
Thank you. Could you just repeat what was mentioned earlier regarding who can't use, so the exceptions for people that can't use the McLeod tool? We didn't have quite have enough time to write them down.
I shall go back to my notes. I know the first couple, but there's a date in there that I don't know. So, yeah, first of all, any members with mental health officer status, including doubling years, it won't work for them. Any male nurses who joined before the 17th of May 1990, just found it in my notes, and also for practitioners because of the way that their benefits are calculated. So if they fall into any of those three pots, they wouldn't be able to use that tool, and they'd need to come to us and we'd advise them and produce an estimate for them on the percentage that would stop them going into the remedy period.
Thank you very much. Next question, dead easy. Can a member take partial retirement if they've already reached their normal retirement age?
Yes, it is actually open to anyone who's reached their minimum pension age all the way up to the 75th birthday.
Thank you. Someone has asked, someone who's wanting to take partial retirement for the 31st of October, should they wait for the new calculator on the 1st of October?
It's a difficult one here. So I suppose if you know what you want to take, so you could use the partial retirement interim tool from the 1st of August. If you know that you only want to take down your legacy service up to the start of the remedy period, then I would say, no reason to wait. You know what percentage and what you want to take, apply on the 1st of August, and we'll process that so that you're paid on the 31st of October. If you don't know what you want and you're thinking, do I want to draw down only 20% because I just need a bit of money in addition, or do I want 60% or 90%? I'm not quite sure. Then yes, wait for that tool, because we can't provide you with multiple estimates. You're best to wait for then, model all of your options open to you, work out what's right for you, then apply on the 1st of October, and hopefully we'll still pay you on the 31st of October, but it is going to be very dependent on the volume of cases that we get in. We're expecting to be in a position where we can process up to 3,000 partial retirements a month. If we get overloaded with more than that, then we'll need to look at things, but we're confident and comfortable that we'll be able to deal with the volumes coming in.
Thanks, Darren. I'm just going to come back to you, Adrian. It's just about a question about the employee must have a reduction in the pay base in the last 12 months, but what if they haven't been in the scheme for 12 months, i.e. they've opted in and out? This particularly affects senior clinicians who are opting in and out due to AA reasons.
Yeah, we touched on this early in the Q&A. Where someone has not been active for that first 12 months, we look at what activity they actually have had in the scheme in that 12 months, and then pro rata it up to 12 months, and then that's the 10% reduction is based on that.
Thank you.
Yeah. So yeah, I think, yeah, again with what we were saying earlier, so if they've got no they haven't been pensionable at all in the 12 months before, they can't take it unless they come back into the scheme for at least a month, and then that will be prorated. If they haven't got a full 12 months before, then that's prorated and they're able to take it.
Thank you. Just coming, I think, probably to Sarah maybe now. Will there be a facility on pensions online so employers are aware which members have drawn down their pension?
Not as far as I'm aware, no. They will still look like an active employer, an active employee, because we're not asking you to close the record down. The record will need to stay open. So I don't think they will, but I will double check that and take that away.
Thank you. Another question, and I think you have already answered it. Can an individual fully retire within 12 months of taking partial retirement? And that's a yes.
It is, yeah.
It is, yeah.
Thank you. Just scrolling through now. Okay. Does the partial retirement 10% reduction in pensionable pay just apply to the 1995-2008 or to the 2015 Section 2?
It's across the board. So all members will be in the 2015 scheme now. So the 10% reduction applies to the pay in general.
Yeah, I think it's key here in that it does what it says on the tin. So partial retirement is essentially partially retiring and reducing your commitments because you're wanting to partially retire. So yeah, across all schemes, to demonstrate that you are partially retiring, then you have to have that at least 10% reduction. But I think it's again, key point here is that it's at least 10%. You know, it could be more than that, and it is able to be more than that. You know, when somebody's looking at partially retiring, they might be saying, right, yeah, you know, I've come to the point where I want to partially retire. I want to go down from full-time to only working 2 days a week and draw down my pension benefits. You know, when we talk about the 10%, that's the starting figure. They can take more than that.
Thank you. Another question, and I think Sarah's just said she'd take away the pensions online. Someone's just asking, what will pensions online look like as a member? Will not be a leaver, as the record will still be open, but you're going to see what you can find out about that.
Yes, I will do. As I said, they're still an active employee. You're still deducting contributions, so I'll double check. I don't think it'll look any different, but I will come back to you.
Okay, and I think this is going to be the last question that we answer on today's session because we've only got a minute left. It's from Tracy, and it's possibly one for you, Adrian. If a member is made redundant, how will partial retirement affect their redundancy pay entitlement?
That is something that they'll have to take up with NHS employers. It's not something that we can assist on as NHS pensions.
Okie dokie. So I think that we have come to the end of the Q&A now. Yes, it's we've closed that off now. So I think we're finished. I don't know, Darren, if you want to just finish off and close off the event.
Yeah, just to say thank you very much for such a well-attended event. I hope that's given you all of the clarity that I know you've had outstanding for a while now about the process and how you would apply on behalf of members for partial retirement. We very much tried to keep the process as is and as it has been, but with some improvements for members, for ourselves and for yourself as employers, and hopefully some really key new tools. You know, we've never had something like the partial retirement calculator before. That will be really key when that comes in on the 1st of October, once GAD have finished development there.